This isn't new news if you've been a part of our church for a little while, but for the better part of last year, we've been walking through a succession process that we're now on the backside of, and I'm excited to come in as your new lead pastor. But recently, I was asked by a friend of mine, a former staff member of ours, who's moved away, but we kept in contact. Here's what she asked me. She said, "Hey, what was the most difficult part about that process for you, personally? What was the most difficult part?" And, it was an easy question for me to answer, not going to be a surprise, but it was just all the scrutiny for as long as I was under it, and will continue to be. But just a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts and a lot of poking and a lot of sharing on what we're excited about, what we're concerned about, what we have questions on, what we're monitoring. For the better part of 9 months at every level at 8 campuses. But as I was, sharing that with her, I also shared this. It was a gift to me too. Not one that I would have asked for or sought after on my own, but it was a gift. It was a gift in kind of 3 regards. Number one, it gave me a better sense of what my reputation really is. Both good and maybe challenging. I have a reputation. You do too. It gave me a better sense of what that is. Secondly, kind of similarly, it filled in some of the blanks. It uncovered some even more blind spots. That's a pretty big gift. That's a hard thing to really get your mind around. I don't think we ever do, but like that was good. It was a good fruit that kind of came from that. And thirdly, it was a good reminder that my reputation, your reputation, it matters. It matters. How we're experienced by someone else on the other side of us really matters. And certainly matters not for the purposes of people pleasing or approval or chasing after. It just matters if you want influence or trust or you want to make an impact. It really matters. I think it's true for all of us on some individual level, okay? I think those lessons are the same. I think it's also true for us on a corporate level, on a group level. Now, really what I'm talking about here is how are we experienced as God's church in which the world we live? What's it like for the rest of the world to sit on the other side of us as the church? What do they think about when they think about the church and its people? Even as I pose that question, I wonder if maybe your first thought or your first feeling is bristling. And maybe you bristle because who cares, right? Who cares? They're not going to agree with us. They don't think like we do. They don't believe like we do. They don't live like, they don't value what they're not going to like us. So why would we chase after? Who cares what they think? I understand that. But I would encourage you maybe to have a different mentality. Maybe this is where you start too. One of curiosity. I wonder how they do. How do they think about us? Because I think if we want to have influence, if we want to have some trust and to be able to get our message across, which is a pretty important message, you probably should know. 2 scriptural ideas that I want to draw our attention to here, okay? And both are written directly to God's people as it relates to this idea of reputation. And the first is in Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a prophet. He's a prophet to God's people during the time of exile. In exile, they've been conquered. They're not in their national home. They don't have a national identity. They've been shipped across the known world. They find themselves in different cities across the different empires that they were a part of. Here's what Jeremiah says to them in that situation. Jeremiah 29, 4-9, but here's what he says. He goes, "Seek the good of the city that you're in. Seek the good of the city and pray for its prosperity." While they were conquered, in cities that didn't share their values, leaders that didn't share their values, he says, seek the good of the city and pray for its prosperity. Just imagine, what if the world had that impression of us? What if we had that reputation of seeking the good of the places that we were in deliberately? What if the church was known for that and praying for its prosperity? Great idea. The second one is from 1 Thessalonians 4, 9-12. And here's what Paul says to the people living in Thessalonica. He says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders. Make it your ambition to live a quiet life, minding your own business and working with your hands, being productive, so that you might win not the approval, not be cool, but like win the respect of people who are on the outside of your faith, on the outside of your church, but they're looking at you. I mean, what if we were known for just being primarily productive citizens who didn't mix it up, who didn't jump into the controversies, who didn't stoke the fires and the flames of whatever? Listen, we all know every 4 years this gets weird, right? We're walking into another one of these cycles. And there's gonna be plenty of people who want us as the church to be very different than Jeremiah and Paul are telling us to be. What if we started and remained committed to being a church that cultivated a reputation by praying for our cities, the towns that we're in, minding our business, but working hard for its prosperity and for its good, so that we might win some influence, so that they might hear our message with some kind of credibility. Just thoughts as we're considering our reputation.